Okay, I'm here at the European Climate Change Adaptation Conference in Rimini, and I'm talking to Andrea Geyer-Scholz of Smart Cities Consulting, who is one of the consortium members in the MAIA project. MAIA is focused on maximizing the impact and accessibility of climate change research. And with that in mind, Andrea has a very important role because she's in charge of the business discovery services that are developed in the project. So, Andrea, could you tell me a little bit about those business discovery services?
Yeah, we participated in developing the MAIA discovery services. And the core of the discovery services is the marketplace that were responsible for, or we are responsible for. Because before you can discover something, it needs to be there. So the marketplace is a treasure trove for finding state-of-the-art research tools, insights, knowledge, pilot cases for exploring.
Okay, so what problems does this discovery services in the market solve, and who are they aimed at? Who does it benefit?
Basically, it's an ecosystem consideration. So you cover the supply side and the demand side of a market, and stakeholders in between, just who want to inform or are interested in the topic or have to contribute something. And the problem that we address is basically that information and insight and pilots and research results are scattered all over the place. And it's hard to detect them, especially if you're not a big municipality or a big organization with lots of resources at your hand. So you need a place where you can go to and explore what's around, what other people are in the ecosystem, and try to connect with them to accelerate your own climate adaptation efforts.
Okay, so it's somewhere that if you're in need of a solution, you could perhaps find the research that could be translated into.
Yeah, or you find a solution that was developed elsewhere and has already been proved as impactful somewhere else. And okay, so I said the marketplace is the core, and on this information in the marketplace and the data in the marketplace, we build a set of services around. Mainly for capacity building, for innovation development, for ecosystem transitions, something like that.
Could you give me sort of an example, perhaps a case, how that might work, who might go to the marketplace, what they're looking for?
So there is an interesting example from Holland in that respect, from the Netherlands. It's an incubator that is related with a technical university. So there are lots of, on the one hand, research results. Then there are in the incubator there are spin-offs, startups working there, and they can via the marketplace and the database they can spread their insights and their beginning projects trends regionally, and they can find partners to develop it further. And on the other hand, also now this is the regional dimension. The municipalities in the Netherlands can see what the state of development is there and jump in as in co-creation and as early stage customers, for instance, driving this further and also getting insights.
Like you said, the regional aspect is very important,
Yeah.
isn't it? You even have regional branches. Is that because I imagine each region, each location has different contexts,
Yeah.
right? So it's very hard to translate, broad research.
It depends whether it's very hard, but you have definitely to consider we call it the regional fabric. So what's there also in terms of demography. So if you're a thriving university city, it's different than you have sort of a retirement community, and also the prosperity of a region has to be taken into account just in terms of financial means available there and so. So and then especially for smaller communities like rural communities, it's important to get rather quickly an impression what else what worked in a community similar to them and in a region similar to them, because then they can assess more easily whether it has a chance to be implementable in their region as well.
Yeah, of course, because something that works in a big city in
Yeah,
the north of Europe
won't work in a hamlet in
the south of
at the
Spain or
fringes
something. Yeah.
of Europe. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
All right. So there's obviously it's very complex what you're doing. What have been some of the challenges of developing these services in the market?
So the for us the main challenge are the resources, because so you say light-hearted digital marketplace, digital services, yeah, but innovations are created by people and by real people, and so it's hard, or it's a challenge to reach out to people in real life, and to catch them in the moment that they feel the need that they have, and they are willing to engage. So that's the challenge, and we try to tackle this a bit by reaching out to already existing hubs, ecosystems, communities in a region, and to enrich them with climate adaptation knowledge and insights.
Do you think it would have been? I imagine it would have been much harder to try and do all this with outside the framework of something like the MAIA project. You know, how has been part of MAIA?
Yes, definitely, because MAIA is set up as a CSA, so therefore it's about synergies and collaboration of research project and research streams within a group of topics, or a theme in the Horizon Europe framework. So you have the opportunity that at one spot you can collect all these insights together and offer it to the outside world. So it's a real benefit to have this in the framework of a CSA.
Okay, great. Yes, I wanted to ask you about, you know, what some of the opportunities have been. Obviously, that's one. Is there anything else on that front that's been, you know, a benefit for you?
So the opportunity in general is you need to consider the flow of time, yeah. So right now is the transition of sectors, and therefore of entire economies, is taking up speed. And therefore there is more need and more awareness of acquiring knowledge and services and solutions from outside of the sector, or from abroad, and from the same sector in other geographies. And this is an opportunity that we can tap in by helping to accelerate this.
Okay, so people are actually aware now that, hey, this is something that
this
we're
is
going
something
to
that we're going to need.
Yeah,
And
all
we
right.
can't. It's not all invented here. It can't be all invented here. So let's see who has been successful elsewhere.
Okay, great. Any learnings or successes so far that you'd like to share?
So what's the interesting part right now is, I mean, the climate services was introduced at the very beginning of Horizon 2020. So this has been 10 years right now. And so we have been as Smart Cities Consulting into this topic since then, and now we see that it starts biting. And this is very satisfactory. And on the other hand, the learning is it just takes time.
Right. Climate services is the provision of climate data, isn't it? For
Climate data, it's data and it's tools around and insights from this data. It's data driven, but you know, also knowledge and the transfer of knowledge is sort of service. Yeah. So it's not only having modeling and big data sets of environmental data, but also on societal data. So this definitely took up speed. So societal, environmental. It's all
coming together.
all coming together and
Yeah.
narrowing down the path.
Well, and it's interesting because also obviously knowledge tools are something else that's been developed in other parts of the
Yes.
the MAIA project,
Yes.
isn't it? Right. Um, So if somebody is interested in the business discovery services, the
Yeah.
marketplace, what can they do to find out more?
Definitely, they can reach out to us. So the first step would be, as I mentioned before, to populate the database with whatever is out there in terms of solutions, but also and the advice to research near project is be honest about your technology readiness level, your stage of development. There is always an opportunity to find somebody to develop this further. So it's not about having a fashionable, market-ready product at the table, but to create a roadmap and follow up on a roadmap.
Yeah.
So that would be the first thing in terms of the supply side. And the demand side is okay. It's a bit delayed because they will discover something when it's in there. But then also the next thing is to encourage regional communities just to reach out to us, referring to creating and improving the climate adaptation-ness of regional communities already out there.
Okay, and they can do that via the website, right?
They can do that via the website and via the I mentioned before the challenges. Real people, boots on the ground. So best is explore the website and then contact us via the channels to reach out to us.
Yeah, and I think we've also developed a guide to the business discovery service and all the other knowledge tools developed in MAIA that they can
definitely,
download, right? Yeah. Okay, so I have one final question that I want to ask you, but it's not related to MAIA. Is there anything else you'd like to share about your activities before I ask you that?
Well, that puts me off a little bit. I was here yesterday, and it was there were only panels, and it was insightful to see that, and it relates to what I said before, that now it's narrowing down on a path, and it's going all together. Yesterday, I was listening to a panel with from the financial crowd, so there were people from banks and from insurances, and they jump more into the game as well, and they want to be involved rather early, so not when all is done and when the damage is there or something like that. But they want to be an active part in developing and in collaborating, and I think this is really encouraging. And I think that something like the discovery services can really contribute to bring these communities closer together, and also to work through from a national or from this conference perspective down to a regional level and to the regional representatives out there.
Yeah,
to
actually,
have
as you
some-
say, people on the ground and solutions implemented. All right. So speaking of the conference, the climate change adaptation conference that we're at, do you have any top climate adaptation predictions or any takeaways from this event so far?
Also relates to what I said before. So the biggest takeaway for me right now is I've been on conferences like that before. That it dawns that climate adaptation is not just a matter for policymakers and something top down and to port over the world, but that it matters to all sectors, to all professions, to everybody, to civil society, and that everybody can also have a stake and a contribution in that. And this is something that I think is very encouraging to see that it's accelerates to be really a joint effort and a joint mission. At the end of the day, transforming the economy and with that also transforming society.
Yeah. And I think I'm hearing a lot from politicians, from regional representatives, that they're really having to start to involve, civil society in the co-creation process, because otherwise things just won't take hold. So, all right. Thank you very much, Andrea Geyer-Scholz from Smart Cities Consulting and the MAIA project. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for asking me.